Greetings, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. If you aren't, just remember, God loves you. I love you. You are loved. Today, we're going to be talking about healing. And I really want to talk about healing because for the past, 7 or 6 months, I've been going through a healing process myself. And you know me, I love to talk. Well, not really talk, but I love to share what I learned or what I've experienced. So I feel like it's the perfect time to talk about healing. For more than one reason, of course. Personally speaking, I've been healing myself, and I just kind of want to share how I've done that, or my process, or my thoughts, and all of that concerning the topic. But also, I want to help anyone out there that is in need of healing, or maybe struggling with healing, or doesn't even know where to start. So, many of you already know my story. You know my situation, my college situation, and where I was mentally and how I was. And if you don't, just go listen to my past podcasts and you'll learn everything you need to know. But many of you already know I struggled with smoking marijuana. I partied a lot in college, and I had anxiety and PTSD. So I struggled with trauma from my childhood. And I was just in a very bad place in college, but it forced me to really observe myself and begin to heal myself properly, because for so long I was kind of running away from myself, like literally running away from myself and my problems and just everything that I was dealing with. And I thought, the best thing was to escape, but later I learned that you cannot escape yourself. So I started to heal myself literally the last couple of months that I had in college, and I continued that process all the way up until I want to say the end of last year, so the end of 2020. So my actual healing process took over a year, and I'm still healing myself. I feel like healing is a dance that never stops. Some days you're gonna feel great, some days you aren't. In those days, you got to take it upon yourself to heal yourself and be okay. And so I feel like it is a everyday thing. Well, not every day, but it is something that you have to consistently do and constantly, nurture yourself and be gentle with yourself. Because again, I learned that I'm my biggest enemy. No one else is my enemy. Trust me. I got beef with nobody else but myself, because I learned that I am my biggest enemy. Self-sabotage is so real, and it all goes back to us not healing ourselves, and personally me not healing myself, and how when you don't think you're better or you can't do better for yourself, it's because of something that is in your subconscious mind telling you that, or telling you to, first let's back up here. In my head, or in my mind personally, I feel like life is a mirror for sure, and it is a conscious projection, a subconscious projection of what's going on. So whatever you're being presented in your outer world, your material world, it's in your subconscious world. And I do very much believe that healing takes place in the spiritual realm before it takes place in the material realm. So for me, I'm very spiritual, and I always feel that whatever happens in, I'm quoting this, real life and our realities, it's a projection, not projection, but a manifestation of what is happening in the spiritual. So if you're getting blessings and very abundant in the natural, it's happening in the spiritual as well, and vice versa. So when it comes to healing, I very much feel like it is to show you where you are spiritually. And I'm not saying that to diss, or I don't know where you guys are in life. I'm just personally speaking, and that's how I kind of measure where I'm at. So the days that I'm feeling off, the days that I don't feel the best physically, the days that I am thinking destructively, I know that something is off spiritually. And many of you, of course, know that, but that's just my indicator that, okay, I need to take a moment to breathe. I need to take a moment to heal myself. So what does that look like for you? That's my question. For me, healing is a nurturing process. I've shared before, but I am a Cancer, so I'm very emotional, and I don't mean emotional like I'm sad or I'm depressed. I mean, I'm just emotional in general. I feel things very deeply. It could be happiness, it could be sadness, it could be literally any emotion. I'm going to feel it intensely. So it's not a bad thing, but it is also, sometimes it's a little annoying because I'm gonna either overfeel it or I'm not. So that's one thing about being a Cancer that I don't really care for, but hey, It's all a part of it. It's all a part of the experience. But with that being said, being so emotional, sometimes when I'm down bad. So how do I heal myself? First, it starts within your mind. And personally, this is where I, again, observe myself. If I'm physically not feeling well or mentally just not in a great headspace, clouds are in the sky, no sun is shining in my world, I'm feeling like, okay, something is wrong spiritually. So I pull back and I literally reassess myself and I collect my thoughts. One, I start with the mind and I start thinking, how can I fix this behavior? Because the one thing I know you can control is your mood and what you care about, all of that. You can control that. You can control your mind in a sense. And so I love to deep dive into my own mind and see what's going on in there. And this is all part of my healing process. I have to observe what's going on mentally before I can fix it physically, if that makes sense. So I try to figure out what's going on, and sometimes it can be pinpointed to the smallest things. Like it could be something that happened a couple of days ago and I just haven't either forgiven myself or another person for it, and it just kind of prolonged into the next couple of days. And so now I'm feeling the effects of it because I haven't forgiven them or myself. And for me, healing is, again, it's a dance. You have to be patient with yourselves. We're human. We're very human. So we're going to feel things all the time. And some of us, I'm not trying to, judge, but seriously, there's some people that don't like to feel, or they ignore their feelings and they push it to the back of their minds. It's still there though. It doesn't go away, which is why it's very important for you to acknowledge how you feel, because one, it is okay. It's 100% okay. And I've learned that growing up, I'm a guy, so it's not very quote unquote masculine to have emotions or to show your emotions. And I agree to some extent, but privately, I always think it is important to deal with yourself and your emotions. And it is okay to feel. Whatever you feel is an indicator of what's going on. One, if you're feeling something, you're experiencing, you're living, it's all a part of life. Okay. It's when you're numb is when you should be worried. And we'll talk about that later. But as far as healing goes, I process my feelings and I embrace them. So if I am, feeling physically bad or mentally in a funk, I'm like, okay, why am I feeling this? Okay, I'm feeling this for a reason. That's one. I'm going through this for a reason. I'm going to embrace that. Now I'm going to see how I can change that. And sometimes it really just starts with a thought of, wanting to change or wanting to do better, or even observing whatever issue is going on in your life that is causing you to feel off, and mentally choosing to change it or change your reaction to it or your feelings and emotions towards that issue or that problem. So that's where I start with. Now, if it continues, then this is where I start adding more of the physical healing aspects into my realm or my world. And if I can't, cease the problem in my mind, I start trying to do it outwardly. So I always start innerly first and then, go outwardly. So I do have some healing tools or whatever you want to call them. I have singing bowls. I have, bath salts, just little things that bring relaxation. I have a massage chair, just little things that will ease the mood. I have all types of essential oils. So, I put my essential oils on. I might put some nice meditation music on, and I will meditate and just try to be calm so I can truly just, inwardly fix everything. I start inwardly and then go outwardly. And then I'll get singing bowls if that doesn't work, and I'll do a sound bath and try to relax that way, release whatever energies. And singing bowls for me are so helpful because the frequencies. Okay, so there's like a lot of them. Let's just say that. So there's one for each one of your chakras, and I'm not going to talk about chakras on this channel because that's personally not my thing. For this podcast, we're going to call them energy points. So we have a whole bunch of energy points in our body, right? Wherever you're feeling the best or not the best at, you want to target that. So for me, I have a lot of problems in my quote unquote throat chakra and my root chakra. So those are my two that I constantly work on just to bring healing. And the root is because of my childhood, and the throat is because, honestly, I think it's because of the smoking and the stuff I did in college. So I tend to have to heal those quite frequently. Or when I know I'm not feeling the best, one, I do have to do a podcast. So the throat one is very important, that it's healed, or that I'm, able to properly communicate. Otherwise, you probably won't hear me for a minute. So just for the future, so you guys know, if I am silent on this podcast, it's because I am trying to heal my throat energy vortex. Like, I'm just trying to heal in general, honestly. But anyways, I get my singing bowls and I do a sound bath, and I just sit there and let those frequencies and vibrations overwhelm me until I feel better. Or if that doesn't work, I go to even more physical technique, and I work out and try to de-stress and heal myself that way. And I do little things here and there, of course. Sometimes healing yourself could just literally be relaxing. For other people, I don't know, your process could be completely different. For me, I start innerly and I go outwardly and try to heal myself. So if it doesn't work innerly first, then that's my next option, is to get physical and try to heal myself, on the physical realm and the natural realm. Again, I always think that it goes back to the spiritual realm. So whatever is happening there is an indicator that something is wrong here, or, vice versa. So, again, if none of that works, prayer is your best friend. And to be honest, before I even attempt to do most of the stuff I just mentioned, I do pray, and I ask God to sanctify my mind and get me right. I do try to read the Bible, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm only human, so sometimes I don't feel the effects right away, and it causes for me to have to do more to nurture myself or take care of myself. But in doing that, you guys are loving yourselves. I am loving myself when I start taking care of myself, and sometimes that's honestly all you do need, especially if you are someone who is working during this time or doesn't get a lot of love. Nurturing yourself is very important, okay? It's very important for you to love yourselves in different ways. And I don't know what loving yourself looks like for you personally, but for me, that literally means taking care of myself. That means eating right. That means meditating. That means praying. That means studying the Word of God. That means doing something that I enjoy, having fun, just relaxing, aside from all of my stuff that I have to do. It's all about being kind to yourself. I talked about forgiveness and how sometimes not forgiving yourself, it can, or not even yourself, but forgiving others. And I did a podcast, I think it was like my second podcast ever, Forgive and Forget. Go listen to that for sure, because that's pretty helpful. But when it comes to forgiveness, I forgot who said it, but they said it's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. That's what it is to hold on to unforgiveness. And when you're holding on to unforgiveness, not only for yourself, but for others, and most of the time, let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest. When you have a problem with somebody else, that's probably because you have an underlying problem with yourself. And I don't want to judge. I'm not judging, but I'm just being honest. Personally speaking, I sometimes find that if I don't like a quality in another person, or something that someone else does that it bothers me, bothers me a lot, and it makes me get mad, or they do something to me or say something to me and it causes me to have an image or not forgive them. When I pull back and reassess myself and just sit there and observe, I often find that I have that secret quality in myself that I don't like. And so I, get irritated when someone else portrays that quality or that habit or whatever the case may be that I don't personally like. And then I realize that I may not even be doing that thing or whatever, but I'll feel like, dang, I'm capable of doing it though, and it bothers me. And so I don't forgive myself, or I have to forgive myself in order to release that energy and forgive them as well. And I always say, when you are forgiving yourself, when you are forgiving others, you are free. You're free from the type of bondage that will low-key eat at you. If you let it, unforgiveness will eat you alive, and it will eat you until you're well off in your old age, and one day you hair falling out, you can't stand right, everything is just falling apart, and you just realize that you haven't forgiven so many people in your life. And again, when it comes to forgiveness, my technique is to bring us back to the human level. Anytime I cannot forgive someone, I remember that at one point in time, they were a 2-year-old child or a 3-year-old child or a 4-year-old child or an infant. and they were just as innocent and pure as ever. And how can you, I mean, I know some parents can get mad at their kids, but seriously, once that kid smiles or does something to make you laugh, you forget all about it and you love them all over again. And that's how it is with forgiveness. Sometimes we just have to pull back and just view people as children. And this is important too. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when it comes to healing, you have to heal your inner child. And this is so important, especially for me. In my life, I had a lot of trauma in my youth, and it just carried on until I was well on in my teens. And now being a young adult, I had to deal with those things as well. Again, I shared that I went through a traumatic experience back in 2008, 2007. I got attacked by pit bulls. They literally ripped me apart. I left that situation or that traumatic experience with over 40 scars, and I still have most of those scars to this day. And it traumatized me to the point that I had so many scars on my legs that for literally like almost 10 years I didn't wear pants, or not pants, but I didn't wear shorts. Wouldn't let anyone see my legs for 10 years. It was just crazy. Anyways, it left me very broken, and I just kind of neglected myself for a very long time. And so I was on this path of self-sabotage because, one, I didn't like the person that I was. I didn't like how I looked outwardly, and I didn't understand why God had put me through that situation. So at the end of my college experience, I went on an intense healing process, not for me, but for the child within me, and started healing the spirit within me, because for so long I had put that spirit within me on the back burner and just put the Holy Ghost on the back burner. Like, again, I've shared before, and I think it was in my Dark Night of the Soul journey, where I shared that for a season, you couldn't have even known that I was a Christian. I had put that part of myself on the back burner, and I was just doing everything else but acknowledging the spirit within me, acknowledging Christ within me. And so it took me having to heal the part of me that is closest to Christ, which is that childlike part of myself, of my being, that inner child, having to heal and really nurture, and just remember that at one point in time, I was this child. I was a 3-year-old, innocent kid who did nothing but exist and enjoy existing and loving God and just thriving in my oneness with life, or whatever you want to call it. And so connecting with that and going back and healing every wound that came after that time. And, I don't know where your childhood lies. For me, I often think of myself being better as I was younger. As I got older, I just got more indoctrinated in the world, and so I just got worse. So for me, my inner child is very, very young, very young. For some, it could be 10 years old. That just depends on the person. But personally, my inner child is very young, and very, I think most of the time it's in the range between 3 and 7. And when I say that, those are the years that I can truly look back and be like, oh wow, what an angel, And so my healing process comes after that. And when I mean after that, I had to heal pretty much the situations that happened from 8 years old up into I was 15. And so that's my age range where I had to really, connect with that inner child and, reassess how I was feeling during that time and what was the issue. And what I learned was that in any situation in your life, it is the lack of love. When you are at a lack of love in your life, you cannot just live properly. And when I say properly, your existence is going to feel tainted in several ways, because you're lacking the very part of your being that lives to exist, which is love. And it sounds crazy because there are people who don't have any aspect of love in their life. That's completely true. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about us, okay? And with us, we need love. We need God's love. We need our own love. We need the love of others. And I don't mean I'm not saying that. The only love we do need is God's love. And I know there's somebody out there who's not a Christian, but again, in my head, or from what I've learned, is that we all pull from the same source of love. Whoever your divine is may not be who my divine is, but you could take let me go back here. We pull from the same source of love in general. You may not call it God, you may not call the divine, Jesus Christ, that may not be that for you. Okay, got it. But make no mistake, it comes from the same source, okay? Love is God and God is love, and that's just that on that. Y'all can argue with me if you want. I ain't arguing back, because that is a fact for me, and that is just a personal thing. Obviously, I don't expect everyone to think the same way as me, but seriously. In my reality, we do all pull from the same source of love, because God is love and love is God. And if you don't have love within you, you don't have God within you. If you don't have God within you, you don't have love within you. So everyone is capable of what? Love, which means everyone has what? Love within them and God within them. And I'm just saying, you may not personally serve God, praise God, and that is to each his own, do your thing. But I'm just saying, make no mistake, that love within you comes from what? And what they say in the last days in the Bible, the love of many shall wax cold. So that's saying what? Many people are going to disconnect from their divine source of love, disconnect from God. So when y'all start seeing all of that, just know the reason why is because people are truly cutting themselves off from God. Now, I don't mean to get like a super, preachy, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. Back to the whole topic at hand, healing yourself. It starts, for me personally, again, innerly, then going outwardly. So it starts with changing your mind, loving yourself more, of course, loving your inner child more. Be patient with yourself. Be very patient with yourself. You have to be easy with yourself. Again, I've said it like 3 times, or this is my 3rd time saying it, but it's a dance, It's not just going to be perfect every day once you heal yourself. You're going to have to consistently heal yourself, because you owe it to yourself to heal yourself. If you don't heal yourself, no one else will. You're your own hero here, okay? Sometimes you have to pick yourself up in order to help other people even. And it's not about other people, it's about you right now. Healing yourself, collecting your, I don't want to say not collecting, but healing your wounds, the things that this world has done to you. Sometimes you just really have to heal from that and realize that sometimes, again, for me personally speaking, when others do something that I don't like, or they hurt me, I realize that I'm capable of doing that to others, and I try to reassess and pull back and figure out where I've done that to others, because I do believe in karma. So whatever you do to someone is going to come back to you. So that's why I'm like, okay, if someone does this to me, somewhere in my journey I have done this to someone else. So how do I not do that again? 1, and 2, heal myself from that energy, so that it doesn't come back around. And healing yourself and your energy is also super important. I already said some techniques on how you can heal your energy. That's important. Meditation is my favorite way. But beyond that, prayer is my biggest answer to give you when it comes to healing yourself. You could pray yourself healed. And I'm going to give you a scripture before I sign off this podcast, so you have something to take away. But just know prayer is my favorite form of healing. And, if you are someone who is very spiritually inclined, all you gotta do is lay hands on yourself and heal yourself, literally. And some people, they believe in their prayer, or they believe in God's word and his truth so much that they will instantly be healed. So, but for somebody who is like me, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it takes me over and over to pray for something until it manifests. And that's just because of, I don't know. Well, I do know why, but it does take a while for me to believe what I'm praying in, is what I'm saying. And so I say patience is key with that. Being patient with yourself. Healing is a process. You have to be patient with yourself and give yourself the space to heal. Just like, example, a diet. When you're on a diet, you don't start seeing results right away. Sometimes it takes a couple days. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes you may not see the full results until a whole year later. But when you are on a diet, or working out, or trying to lose weight, or even gain weight, it takes time. So patience is key. Being easy with yourself, nurturing yourself in the process of healing is so important. And just, considering yourself, your thoughts, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and everything else, and even anyone else, is super important in this process as well. And being patient with those around you, and of course, the child within you. My last, suggestion on healing, or my personal experience, was implicating fun into your life. The more fun you have, the less time you have to worry about stress and anything else bad or negative. When you are having fun, that energy will carry you into lifetime. And when I say a lifetime, we're spiritual beings, one. This whole physical realm is just temporary, okay? The natural realm is temporary. We're not going to be here forever. We know this. A lot of us literally live in denial every day, and that's 100% okay. Again, to each his own. But for me, now that I truly do know that my life on this planet is temporary, I love having fun in every way that I can. Every moment that I can include more fun into my life, even every day, just doing something that brings you joy is important. Now, I'm not saying to distract yourself by having quote unquote fun, because there are some methods of fun that can be considered self-sabotage. So not having that kind of fun all the time, but it is okay to have some good fun here and there, and to really just be free and being in that just love vibration and energy and fun energy and just being happy. Okay, it's good to be happy, and acknowledging when you are happy is important too, because then you can more pinpoint when you're in that energy versus when you're not. Obviously, it's easy to know when you're mad or you're sad, or sometimes actually it isn't. Some people could be extremely angry and not realize that they are, and they'll be like, I'm fine, and in reality they're going insane. But again, healing is a process, and I wish everybody a happy healing process. It'd be better if everyone could heal and still be in a great mood. But then again, you wouldn't need healing, so just scratch that. Anyways, before I sign off on this, I just want to say healing is going to ask of a lot of you. Okay, it's something that you're going to have to consciously decide to do and make effort towards. It's not something that you can just put off every day, or again, it's only going to get worse and things are going to build up. And releasing bad energy is so important in this time. Staying in a love vibration is so important. I'm not a prophet, none of the sort. I'm not that person who be speaking, prophecies. I'm not doing that. But in my head, what I've been feeling lately with the earth is going through a very cleansing process, which involves, I don't want to sound like bad, but I'm being honest. And I've been, speaking with my mom about this for a while, because she's constantly seeing death around her. And I've been saying that if a person's vibration isn't matching the planet's vibration, as the planet ascends and gets, the vibration of the planet lifts and gets, more vibrational, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely going back to its perfect state. And let's just say this, when it comes to the polarity of the earth, we've been pretty low with vibration. This earth has been in a very low vibrational state for a long time, and now that it is starting to lift back up and get higher and ascending up, the vibration of the planet is changing. And as it gets higher and higher, there are certain people on this earth that are not matching the frequency of the earth. And this is why I'm even having this whole podcast right now about healing, because it's so important for us to heal ourselves, because I don't want to see anybody pass away. I'm not a fan of death, and God forbid anyone passes away. I'm not speaking that. I'm just telling you it, in my head, or what I believe is going on with a lot of death around us. They say coronavirus. Okay, that's great. I personally am not a government. I don't do that. Y'all, they can tell me whatever they want to tell me until they blue in the face. Okay. Now, what I get spiritually downloaded into my mind is what I'm going to go with before I go with what someone on the outside is trying to tell me, okay? So, again, I'm spiritual, so I don't like to listen to outwardly things unless I can discern that it is the truth, and discernment is important. But anyways, if a person's energy is not matching the planet's energy, the planet will kind of treat them like a parasite. No disrespect to anyone who has passed away, rest in peace. But I'm just letting anyone know that if your energy is not in a great place, the earth is going to know that. And by the earth, God is going to know that. And he's been calling some of his children home. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Again, some would say escaping Earth is better than being here, especially because, let's be real, we know the darkness of the world. We know how dark it is here, which is why it's more essential for us to be a light in this world, okay? We're already surrounded by so much darkness. We're surrounded by so much darkness. There's no need for us to get joined to that darkness and become just as dark, which is why we have to heal ourselves in order to let our lights shine bright. And regardless of not, your light is going to shine, okay? In God's timing and divine timing. The thing is, you can, quote unquote, assist God in helping your light shine by doing your part, or you can wait until God does that. But just know you're probably going to miss out on a lot with, in between that. And again, I'm not judging. I'm just being real with y'all. Just being real with y'all. Again, being in that loving vibration does not mean you have to be a slave to God. I'm not telling you that. That is your own journey. We all have tailored journeys for ourselves, okay? So my journey is not the same as yours is not the same as mine. As long as you are getting back to oneness with God or the divine or love, then, kudos. But anyways, sorry for going off there, on a little tangent. Just had to share that because I've been wanting to share it and not knowing how to, because I really don't like talking about negative things, and sometimes that can seem like a negative thing to say, especially because it when it comes around death, it is, and I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, everyone is dying because they got bad energy. And I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm saying is, we're on the ascension to 5D, and many will say we're already here. And if your energy is not matching the vibration of the planet energy, then the planet will treat you like a parasite. That's all I'm saying. But let's move on from that, because I know it kind of took a little turn there. Bring the energy back up. Sorry for that. If I brought your energy or vibration down, did not mean to do that. Heal from what I said, please. Hope I didn't bother you. God forbid I bothered you. Take care of yourself. Be easy with yourself. Get more rest. Love yourself more. Learn to let go more. Letting go of everything negative, anything bad in your life. Take more time out to learn something for yourself. Just anything, spiritually and naturally, you could learn anything, but take time to learn something. For those in school, you already know. Take more time to ask for transformation. Ask God to transmute the things in your life and even yourself. Asking for transformation is important in the healing process. Be honest more about how you feel with others and yourself, and deal with that accordingly in your own time, in your own privacy, and however you need to handle that. Take more time to develop good habits in your life. Good habits it's a range of things. That is up to you, what you deem as something good, but take time to develop it, nurture it. For those that play instruments, for those that are into art, take time to really develop those skills, because there's a lot of healing in that. What else could I say? Just be more patient with yourself. Learn to really go within yourself to find inner peace. Inner peace is important. You have inner peace on the outside, you will have outer peace. So very much find peace on the inside so you can have outer peace, and have more faith in yourself and more faith in God in this whole process, and just watch your life get better. And finally, I have a scripture for you guys. Jeremiah 17:14. I said Jeremiah. I'm not talking about the R&B singer. Jeremiah, 17:14. Heal me, O Lord, I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for thou art my praise. Jeremiah 17:14. So we've covered a couple different methods of healing, spiritually, mentally, and physically, or at least I hope I touched on spiritually and mentally and physical healing. If I haven't, just know that there are many methods out there, so many methods. It's all about finding which ones are best for you and which ones you are more comfortable with doing. I know not everything is everyone's cup of tea, so I gave you guys a lot of different options. My personal favorite method of healing is prayer, and just being in the vibration of healing. As long as you're seeking to be healed, then you are somewhat, sowing that seed of healing, and you reap what you sow. So if you are sowing healing, you're going to reap healing. And just a reminder that whatever vibration you're at, so if you're at a low vibration, you're attracting lower frequencies and vibrations into your life. That could be disease, sickness, bad health, just anything negative. And when you're at a higher frequency, you are able to attract in more higher vibrational energies. So good health, fitness, energy, just all types of good things. So just that as a reminder. And also, I just want to say, anybody that is going through the process of trying to heal yourself, Godspeed to you. I truly hope that you're able to enjoy this journey of healing and to even heal in general, because it's a hard task. But as long as you are appreciating the process, at the end, you're going to be so much happier and just better in general. So I wish you a beautiful healing journey, as well as healing upon your life in any way, in every way, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever the case may be. God bless you. I love you. Before I sign off, I just want to say, I don't usually ask for support, but if you did enjoy this podcast, please share it with your friends and family so they can get in on this good healing, and let's all heal together. You guys have a beautiful and blessed day.